Today I'm going to talk about the strategy of the lightning bolt, which is one of my favorite strategies. There are three strategies that have to do with the best time to begin. And the strategy of the lightning bolt has to do with beginnings. The strategy of the lightning bolt is when, because of some new idea, some new belief, something that comes into our mind, we're able to make a huge change in our habits. Now, usually when people talk about habit change, they talk about actions that we repeat over and over and over until they become automatic. And it's absolutely true that this is a very common way and a very effective way for habits to engage. However, there are times when you just have an idea, when something hits you like a lightning bolt and your habits just change. Now, when this happens, change is practically effortless. It can happen overnight. A huge dramatic change can happen in a flash. But the thing that's frustrating and elusive about the strategy of the lightning bolt is that it's not something that we can choose to do. It's not something that we can practice. It's really something that happens to us. I had a very extreme example of the strategy of the lightning bolt in March 2012. I went on spring break with my family and my in-laws, the way I do every spring, and I took a bunch of books with me, the way I always do, and I happened to pick up this book called Why We Get Fat by Gary Taubes. And I read it because I was interested in the argument, and but I didn't particularly want to lose weight myself. I was fine with my weight. But when I looked through it, I had noticed that there's a lot of discussion of insulin. And since my sister is a type 1 diabetic, I've been really interested in insulin for a long time. So I thought, okay, I'll read it. So I went on vacation, I read this book in like 2 days, and overnight I changed practically everything about the way that I ate. Now, his argument, Taubes' argument, is very complex, so I'm not going to get into it here, but I'm just going to say that I was so convinced, I was so compelled by the logic and the reasoning here that my mind changed. And when my mind changed, my habits changed. I didn't make a few tiny steps to give up this and that. I didn't gradually do it. I didn't do it, little by little, incremental. I didn't, think it through. It was like, it hit me overnight, everything changed. And the lightning bolt can hit us for a lot of reasons. Sometimes it's an idea, like you might see a documentary or you have a conversation with something, some new idea comes to you. Or maybe it's a change in your own life, like an important birthday or an accident or a marriage or a divorce or a death or some change or even something like a long journey taken by yourself. Some idea comes to you, some realization, some belief settles on you, and your habits change. Now, as I said, it can be difficult because this isn't something that you can plan for. It's not something that you can make happen to you. But I think it's very important to be aware of the strategy of the lightning bolt, because I think sometimes, because it looks very different from the other ways that we expect habits to change, the people don't realize what's happening, and maybe they don't take advantage of something, or they don't comprehend how this might affect them for the better or for the worse. And so, as with everything with habits, I think it's very important to understand the patterns of what's happening in our lives so that we can make sure that what's changing or not changing is really helping us live the life that reflects our values.